Hi, this is Christy Marx, creator of Gem and the Holograms, and you're listening to a truly outrageous podcast with Mike, Amy, and Nicole. It's Showtime Synergy.
Are you ready to get truly outrageous with the Geekcaster Radio Network? Here is the premiere episode of our Gem and the Holograms review podcast entitled Showtime Synergy. I am one of your hosts, M, and joining me in this truly outrageous adventure are my holograms, the Lady Wreck and Hailstorm. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Let's get fabulous. Truly outrageous.
That was a good intro.
Yes. So it has been 30 years since Gem and the Holograms, the cartoon series, was on the air from Sunbow Productions and Hasbro. Now we're going to give you 25 episodes of this podcast, reviewing every episode of the Gem series. Hopefully some interviews and a whole lot of fun. Now, when I did my introduction and I called myself M, M was the original character name of the doll when they first brought it to Christy Marx for an idea for an animated series. So it was originally going to be M and the Holograms.
Oh, I'm glad they changed it.
Yeah.
I'm glad they changed it, because that's bad.
And then she suggested, well, why not Gem and the Holograms? I believe that's how it happened. I've got 2 interviews that I will link in this episode that I've done with Christy Marx over the years here on the Geekcast Radio Network, and one of them she explains the origins. If you have the complete series DVD set from Shout Factory, I believe there is a retrospective featurette with Christy Marx, who was the original head staff writer. I believe she was also co-creator or creator of, as far as the cartoon does, she's basically the boss on this cartoon, is basically what it boils down to.
The buck stopped with her.
So basically what this is going to be is like all the other review shows here in the GCRN, where I'm trying to expand the review show stuff, and everybody has asked me over the years, are you ever going to do a My Little Pony review podcast? And that's one thing where I draw the line. It's like, this one fandom I do not want to touch with
because
a 10-foot
we have
pole.
standards here, right? We have standards,
No.
right?
It's not even that. The My Little Pony fans, God bless them.
Yeah,
they
you better
can
watch
have...
your words very carefully.
Yeah,
no,
you're talking
I'm
about
I know, and I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm just saying that it's not for me. I think I got through the first 16 episodes of season 1 of Friendship is Magic, and I just couldn't watch anymore. I'm not saying that it was a bad show or anything else. It's just I just couldn't get into it.
That's it.
Oh.
That's it. All right, I don't want to hear anymore. You're dead to me, dude. You're dead to me.
Right.
He didn't get to my favorite episode.
Season 1 or season 2?
Season 1. And that's Party of One. You go watch that. And you will be a fan. Pinkie Pie, you'll never see a pony break like Pinkie Pie. She talks to rocks and has turnips as friends. She really does break down psychologically, and it's hilarious.
Now, over the years, people have told me, oh, Gem and the Holograms, that's a girls' cartoon. Girls' cartoons, most of them don't have evil music producers trying to blow you up with giant explosions and dynamite and...
Wait, are you saying this is Michael Bay before he started working in movies?
No. Thank God, no. No.
This is why Michael Bay went the way he did. He watched Gem back in the day.
Exactly.
He'd be old enough for it. I mean, come on, man.
He would be.
Oh, my God. No.
See what happens when you bring us on here.
Uh-huh.
Let's get explosive.
Yeah, hey, it's... Nice. And that's another thing I want to point out. We have had at the GCRN, we've had several female co-hosts and hosts on several different shows off and on. You fine ladies have been on the pullback with me for a number of episodes off and on. But this is really the first podcast, well, it might be the second, because I know Steve Megatron is doing Rebooting Mainframe with Terror the Rising Star Blair. But the reason why I'm bringing Amy and Nicole on here is because I want both opinions, male and female, as far as this show goes, because this show fits in with the rest of the action cartoons of the 80s. It's not, yes, it does have music and fashion, but music is not just for females.
True.
Fashion, that's a little questionable. But back
in the 80s, every girl pretty much wanted to dress like them in some way or another.
And
whether
it's
it be the big
80s.
hair, or, yeah, it is.
Going back and watching, because I have just in the last couple months here just been going back and watching it, going, oh my gosh, it's so 80s. Look at those pants. Oh my gosh.
The hair.
The hair too. The hair. Oh my gosh.
So that's why they're here, and it's just going to be a fun ride looking back on this cartoon. And I have to say, I've done several review shows on several of the 80s properties. I did Transformers G1, I did Mask, I've done He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, She-Ra Princess of Power. Well, I will be doing She-Ra Princess of Power eventually. And this one, like I said, it doesn't separate itself from the quote-unquote boys cartoons, because anyone can watch this or can watch Transformers or G.I. Joe. Or, like, the whole notion of, oh, well, these are the boys' toys, or these are the characters for boys to, well, that's just ridiculous. Or, in this case, well, these are the characters that the girls can look up to. That's fine, since considerably in the 80s it was a male-dominated thing with cartoons, with action cartoons anyway. And this one is different. It really is. It's not your standard all-female cartoon show. It really isn't. And I think it was interesting that they went to use holograms and synthesizers, and I mean, this show really is the 80s. This show is everything about the 80s music industry and fashion industry. It really is. I mean, I haven't watched all the episodes at this point, but I haven't watched them all recently. I don't think that. I think the one thing they might be missing is parachute pants. It's the only thing I might be missing in this show.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing parachute pants. I'll have to go back and look. I'll just keep my eye on it again.
What about the young girls? The young girls that they took care of.
Maybe the Starlight Girls.
Maybe one of them was wearing one.
I know they pegged their pants a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, like all of the GCRN podcasts, we have good, highlights and lowlights. And for this show, I am calling them hologram moments and misfit moments.
Oh, you're not going to go there. The misfits are times much better than the holograms. Don't you dare do that.
No.
I see how things are going to end up going here. Nicole's going to be the misfit, and I'm being in the hologram, right?
Well, Roxy was my favorite character. I love Roxy.
Okay, you can love Roxy. I'm okay. Take our Mask podcast, please. Take our Mask podcast, Masked Mayhem. In that, the good moments and the bad moments were called high beams and low beams for headlights. Okay, so. I'm not saying the misfits are wrong or it's wrong to like them. I'm just saying that it makes sense to me for the good moments, the things you like. I know you're just giving me crap. Uh-huh.
This is our job. This is why you have co-hosts. They keep things interesting.
I always like the bad guys better. It's just how I am.
Yeah, we know. God, technically, Rio is an emo cyclonus.
Rio. I've got a whole rant on Rio, man.
Uh-oh.
That guy. No, you do not compare him to Cyclonus because that guy is a douchebag. He is messing around with two women, and he knows it. The thing is, he doesn't know they're both the same girl. No. That's what ticks me off. Is that he tries to get away with it, and what drives me nuts is Jerica knows that he's cheating on her, and she doesn't do anything because he's cheating on her with herself. So.
That's so
this
messed
up.
This
is where the podcast gets philosophical, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, there's a bunch of times, and we'll get into this next time with episode 1 with the first 5-part opening here. But in the first few episodes, he actively resists Jem. He says, "No, I've got to grow. What would Jerica say?" And blah 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 blah. And really, you should be, as a female, Nicole, you should be more upset with her about lying to him for 65 episodes.
I'm upset with both of them. This is why I like the Misfits. They know they're doing bad, but at least they don't lie about it. Come on.
Drama. This is what was the pre-drama stage of all girls that were watching this at that age. Exactly. It's like, if you didn't get into soap operas afterwards, then Jem didn't do her job right.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So, like I was saying, hologram moments for the good stuff that we like about the show, misfit moments for the stuff that we don't like. I'm going to try to sprinkle in a little bit of trivia each episode if I can. I will say that I'm going to at least put one song from the series that was featured in one of the episodes, in each episode of the podcast. I don't know how that's going to work because of the simple fact that when I went back and watched the first 5-parter, well, it's technically not a 5-parter, but this was back in the 80s when everything had to have this 5-part opening miniseries. G.I. Joe had the mass device. Transformers only had 3 parts with More Than Meets the Eye, but this has the beginning, disaster, Kimber's Rebellion, frame up, and battle of the bands. I watched these 5 episodes about, 3, 4, 5 months ago, and they have, in these 5 episodes, a total of 14 songs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's kind of overkill.
Well,
not too overkill, but it'd be like, if you put that many songs into one episode, it'll be all song the whole time.
Right. Probably what I'm going to do is, when we get to the recording of the actual episode reviews, I'm going to send you guys the list of songs that are featured in the episodes that we'll review, and you guys can pick out your top 2.
We'll fight over it.
Of course, I'll pick the Misfits songs.
And I'll pick the Jem songs, so there you go. Choose your faction.
Yes. Oh, God. Here we go.
Come on, man. We're the 80s girls here.
Okay. Everybody out of the pool. Nobody gets to choose a faction. You all get to go out into the wilderness now. Anyway. So I think how the best way to do it is to have 2 songs per podcast, one somewhere at the beginning and one somewhere at the end. There were 2 different opening theme songs for this show. There was the standard one that we all know, and there is the one entitled yeah. Well, they switched back and forth.
Yeah, I noticed that there was some places where it was consistent, and there was parts there it was like, oh, so right. We have a different one. Oh wow, this is a new opening.
There's
keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, there's the original theme song that we all know, and then there's a song called Gem Girls that they used on the intro. I will be alternating between those 2, so the odd episodes you're going to get the original theme song, and the even episodes are going to get the Gem Girls theme song. So that way it kind of alternates.
It'll be just like the show.
Kinda. So there is that. Did you guys actually watch the show when you were kids?
Oh yeah,
I did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mine is kind of Okay, so I thought about this because I knew you were going to record this, and I was like, okay, back in the day, I had, for whatever reason, it did. The only way I could watch the show, I think it was like on the weekends, and it was like on at like 5 o'clock in the morning, that type of thing. And I don't know why it was on that early, but I was one of those kids that I had to secretly get up and go to my TV and turn it on and keep it really, really low so that my parents couldn't hear that I was up, because they did not like me being up watching TV that early in the morning. And so I was like hiding the fact that I was watching Gem. And I used to set my alarm. Fan. Yeah. I would set my alarm and I would get up. Like I don't remember how it was that I discovered the show. I think it was I would just randomly woke up one morning really early and went down and tried to watch cartoons or whatever. And for like I would wait like the whole week, and then I would set my alarm on that Sunday night and I'd get up as fast as I can, because my mom was a really light sleeper. I mean, I would go out into the living room and I'd turn the TV on. I'd have to be really, really quiet about it, because sometimes even just popping it on, my mom would hear that. So I had to pop on it was like one of those really old TVs where it didn't have the toggle switch. It was the pop out one where you had to pop it out, and then you had to you're hoping, crossing your fingers, that the person that had last watched watched TV the night before hadn't turned it up really loud. So you had to. I got to the point where I started turning it down really, really fast. And I would even keep a blanket, and it wasn't a small TV, it was a big TV, and I would put the blanket on the TV kind of to kind of hide the light, because my mom would see the light and it would wake her up, and I'd be like, dang it, and I would have to go back to bed, and I would miss the show, and I'd be like, no. So I mean, it was a big ordeal for me to go watch the show. I was secretly watching the show for weeks before my parents finally figured out what I was doing, and I said, no, I want to watch the show. I don't even remember if I even got to the end of it. I just remember that they had a couple episodes back to back, because it was early in the morning and it was on an off peak time. So they would like run them a couple, they'd run a couple of episodes. And so that's sometimes how I would be able to get to see them, as I would get a chance to watch the episodes from the week before if they were replaying them or, whatnot. So yeah, it was all the memories going back and watching this show. I'm going, oh my gosh, I remember that. Oh my heck.
Putting a blanket over the TV. She really is a closeted Gem fan, isn't she, Nicole?
I was crazy. I was a little kid and I wanted to watch my show, and so yeah.
Got it.
Not only that,
if everybody that knows you now could have seen little Amy running around Sunday morning watching Gem.
The sun wasn't even up yet. I mean, I would be like, it would be dark outside. I'd watch the sun get up in the morning. No, and then afterwards, after I'd watched all the shows, then I would go back to bed.
That sounds good. I used to do that when I was really young, watching Bozo. Bozo the Clown. That tells you how old I am, people.
Wow. Wow, Bozo the Clown. There you go.
Yep.
So, what about you, Nicole? Do you remember watching this?
Oh, of course I remember watching it. Me and the girls, because I remember watching it more like after school. Me and my girlfriends used to get together and watch it. So it came on like around the same time as Transformers and G.I. Joe. They had a block of cartoons. So
I must have seen it like on the replays or something, the rebroadcast on some weird channel somewhere.
Yeah, I think for me, and I don't know why this is, that this might have been an off-peak time, but I remember for some strange reason watching this, and then Mask came on right after it, or some. I honestly couldn't tell you. I do remember this being on at like 6 or 6:30 in the morning spot up in Boston, Massachusetts. So. I honestly don't remember. I do remember Transformers and G.I. Joe and all that stuff after school. I do not remember Gem after school.
Yeah, neither do I.
I remember that in the morning.
It would really stink too if they like changed the time. I would like freak out because it'd be like, oh no, it's not on anymore. I'd get up an hour earlier to see if I could find it, and then an hour afterwards to see if I could find it.
No.
Eventually, I think it wasn't on that week, and so it messed me all up. Messed up my sleeping habits because when you were a little kid, you didn't know where to look up the stuff in the TV guide, and it actually took me a while to finally figure out how to use the TV guide. And so when I finally did, I was like, oh geez, that saves a lot of guesswork. But after the show, I think, let's see, the two cartoons that I remember that were on afterwards were I think something called Brave Star.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I remember Brave Star.
Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future.
I remember Brave Star. Oh yeah.
There's an interview on the DVD set with Michael Sheehan, who plays Rio. And I remember this interview, and he says, at the time I felt like the old man playing this young character because all these other girls around me were all so young at the time of actually doing the production on the show. Mm-hmm. So that was a little strange in that interview. It had 65 episodes, but honestly, I don't remember. That's one of the reasons why I like doing these review podcasts, because it makes me go back and look at stuff that I remember as a kid every so often, and I know I didn't see all 65 episodes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't either, but there's something very familiar about quite a few of them, so.
I know I did because I watched this in full just a couple years ago.
Well, I know, yeah, we've rewatched it since we were kids, but yeah. I mean, as a kid, I don't remember seeing all 65 episodes. I remember seeing maybe season 1, season 2. I don't remember a lot of season 3. And right now, outside of the first 5, I honestly couldn't, without obviously going through them like we're going to, without doing that, I couldn't tell you what happens from one episode to the next.
Well, like season 3 though, it was kind of like a half a season. That's when they introduced the stingers, right?
Yeah, that's when they introduced the stingers.
Okay.
So,
I'm just
Townsend Coleman played one of the stingers. Played the guy.
Yes, he did.
That's cool.
Yes, he did.
I'm just excited that I'll be able to listen to it without having to hide it. I was like, I could actually hear what they're saying, because like I said, sometimes I would keep it so low so my mom wouldn't wake up that sometimes I wasn't even quite sure what they just said. Like, okay, I think I can't read their mouths. They're not, they're not human. It talks, but it's not articulating the right way.
Oh, funny.
This is going to be an interesting journey. It really, really is. And with this being Jem's 30th anniversary, I honestly couldn't have planned this better. Because it's going to be so fun. You've got, as far as the cast goes, you've got Samantha Newark as the voice of Jerrica/Jem, and Berta Phillips was the singing voice for Jem. I definitely got to get interviews with them.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
Did they have different people doing their singing voices than they did their speaking voices? Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, Berta Phillips was the singing voice of Jem. Let me see, who was the other one? There were so many different singing voices for the characters. I can't believe RC is playing a blue villain in this. Susan Blue is Susan Blue is Stormer.
Really a villain. She's kind of like
misplaced
gal.
Yes, she is very misplaced.
She has a good heart.
And she goes back. She
goes back and forth, actually.
Point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, she has a good heart, but Pizzazz usually stomps all over it half the time.
Pizzazz is the woman, man. She knows what she wants. Actually, Pizzazz kind of scares me. She's psychotic.
She is psychotic.
I actually have somewhere in my archives. My friend did a mashup of Pizzazz and Megatron.
Oh my god.
As a character. It's awesome.
Oh my god. That would be hilarious.
Just think, Pizzazz with a fusion cannon.
Exactly.
Oh. There would be so much more destruction than Megatron could ever think of. Because Pizzazz is a hell of a lot more reckless than Megatron.
Oh, yeah.
If Megatron and Pizzazz were to meet, he would be like, okay, you're crazy.
Yeah.
So you make me look like I'm mild.
Yeah.
You would make me look good.
I gotta go try to find that. It's a great picture. It's really.
Oh man.
Right. Going back and looking at the cast on this, it really does and doesn't surprise me. But Charlie Adler is Eric Raymond, the evil music producer, for this one, and all I can think of is Buster Bunny when he was evil. Oh my god. Like I said, this is going to be a really, really fun time with you gals, and it's going to be interesting to see what we come up with as we analyze the show.
Mayhem. Sorry.
I guarantee you Nicole's probably going to have at least 10 glitter explosions every episode.
Glitter makes everything better.
Does.
Especially when it's on someone else.
Glitter makes everything that much more awesome. This is why Transformers needs more glitter.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Just give Knockout some time. It'll come.
Just think, Unicron with glitter.
It'd be like a disco ball.
I know. It'd be great. It'd be the most rocking show ever.
Now I can see Swerve's next weapon, the glitter gun.
That would be awesome.
All right, so as I said,
turn into the Transformers show.
Yes, as I said at the beginning of this, it's going to be 25 podcast episodes reviewing all 65 episodes of the show. We are going to try our best to get interviews. I don't know if that's going to work out or not.
Yes, people, we are that crazy. We're going to do 25 shows of Gem and the Holograms.
Why not? Why not?
The Mask podcast I did was 30 episodes for 65, or for 75 episodes. The He-Man show, the first He-Man show, Tales of Eternia, for the 80s Filmation one, that was 45 episodes for 130 cartoons of He-Man. So I tried to stretch this out longer, and it just wouldn't. No, I mean, like, I tried to get this to 30 episodes. It just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work.
Maybe with interviews you can.
Well, interviews are separate. But,
gotcha.
But it's just one of those things where 25 is a nice round number.
I'm all right with 25.
Yeah,
well, it's not a round number, but yeah. So this is going to be a blast. So tune in to us. I'm not sure what day this is going to be airing on. This might be airing on Tuesday or Thursdays. I'm not sure right now. We will be in iTunes eventually. I think we're going to take a quick break. You're going to hear the Gem Girls theme song, and we'll come back with closing remarks after this.
Gem will be right back after these messages.
By the power of Grayskull, I command the jaw bridge. Open!
Yes, that's right. We have traveled to Eternia to enter Castle Grayskull. Join Optimus Solo and TFJ and Mike as they find themselves telling tales of Eternia. We cover all things He-Man in this 45-episode-long podcast. You can find us on iTunes and www.geekassradio.com. By the power of Grayskull, we all have the power.
Me and my friends are Gem Girls. Gem is my name. Exciting adventure, fashion, and fame. Once you're a Gem Girl, you're never the same. Come on, Gem.
All right, we are back. Let's go around the table. What are each of you looking forward to at this show, Nicole?
Telling everyone how awesome the Misfits are. No, I think I'm most looking forward just to going back and reliving my childhood a little bit and seeing, how other people looked on it, Yeah, it's just gonna be fun. That's what I'm looking forward to, just talking about it with someone, because I haven't talked about this show for a long time to anyone. So,
What about you, Amy?
Yeah, it's the whole idea that, hey, there are other people out there that used to watch this show too, just like me, and oh wow, they like it as well. Well, that's good. Validation. I like my validation. But yeah, it should be pretty fun to see us, have fun talking about it and making it crazy, because Nicole and I will make it absolutely crazy.
oh yeah,
Yes.
Mike knows what he's getting into.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't have asked you guys to be on this if I didn't know what I was getting into. Both of you have giant warning labels all over you. So, it's like, okay, I can handle that.
We have giant warning labels.
Yeah.
Great.
One says whirl, the other one says cyclonus.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh.
Thank you for joining us here on Showtime Synergy. There are some ways to get in contact with us to leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on all the episode posts and other episode posts that we do for all the other stuff. Email us, feedback at geekcastradio.com. In the subject line, put Showtime Synergy and the episode number. So for this, it'd be episode 0, obviously. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter. You can follow the network at Geekcast Radio. I am at TFG1 Mike. Nicole, what is your Twitter?
At Beatles Diva. That's Beatles like the band, not the bug. That's gonna be on my tombstone, I think.
Every time you say it like that, all I can think of is, I'm not just Bumblebee anymore. I'm a gold bug. Amy, what is your Twitter?
You can find me at Lady of Wreck. That is
right.
wreck as in wreckers. Lady of Wreck.
Because she's messy. No,
I am. I wreck everything, man.
That's one thing
That's
I'm going to
my
have
warning
to...
label is I wreck everything.
That's one thing I'm going to have to keep track of, because it does say on Wikipedia and IMDb that Neil Ross is a voice in this cartoon. I'm going to have to keep track of which characters he does and see how similar they are to Springer in vocal sound.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. Become a fan of us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Geekcast Radio Network. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the story you're leaving the message for. And your name, 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed this first episode of Showtime Synergy and wish you'll join us next time when we will be reviewing the first 5 episodes of Gem and the Holograms, those being The Beginning, Disaster, Kimber's Rebellion, good old 80s teen angst, Frame Up, and Battle of the Bands. For now, I am M with...
Oh, this is Nicole Hailstorm. Aloha.
and this is Amy, Lady of Wreck.
Tune in next time to help us get truly outrageous with Showtime Synergy.
Show's over, Synergy.